So this brings us to the Paris Psalter and Pepperer. No. This brings us to the Paris Psalter. And the Paris Psalter is a revival of sort of classical art in a biblical setting. A psalter is specifically a book of psalms. So that's where we're getting the term. And this is part of the Macedonian Renaissance that we see following iconoclasm. We have the Macedonian dynasty coming to power, and we're going to see a bit of a rebirth in the Byzantine, at least an artistic rebirth. So, at the time, they're focusing on the study of Greek art and literature. And what we're seeing is this interesting mix of biblical and Greek imagery. And it's very unusual because it can be read a couple of different ways. Now, this is likely a reference to Orpheus. Orpheus is a Greek hero who could charm objects and animals with music. He's doing this within a landscape with a series of personifications, including a personification of a river deity, the city of Bethlehem, and Echo being a Greek god. But then you can also read this a little bit differently. The idea here is that Orpheus could also be David, and the music is replaced by the Psalms. The Psalms in some tradition were sung, so it would make some sense. And of course you would have Echo, which would reflect the idea that these ideas are universal, that they're almost reflected throughout the land. Bethlehem being a sort of symbol here because David, of course, is one of the progenitors of or ancestors of Jesus. So by David coming to power writing the Psalms, he will bring Jesus forth eventually, rising from Bethlehem. We have the river image. So the image of the river is the woman sitting next to Orpheus or David. And this is getting across the idea that David sort of has control of everything. It's actually symbolic of him unifying Israel, unifying the Jewish peoples more so than sort of as a musical form. But this is imagery we've seen before, this idea of animals and people being attracted to a ruler, and he's ruling over not only the people, but the very wild itself. So very interesting imagery, and you'll notice some of the figures actually have words under them. Those are labels in Greek.